coming in with
the news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Monday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
You can't beat that, right?
Now, how about that? Right on home turf?
Ice, yeah.
There you go. And again, huge shout out to the Hamilton team, first ever, right?
Yeah,
Boy,
that was exciting.
That's awesome. And how about this to celebrate? You have a pretty mild day today. Yes, we're starting out in the 40s. Look at sections of New York State, especially out near Rochester, or I should say Syracuse, pushing near 50 to begin your morning here. Now, the cloud cover today is a bit faded. It's not entirely overcast, but either way, it's that middle ground we deal with when we have warmer starts to the mornings here, and somewhat feels like an early taste of even summer as well this morning, how warm it feels. We have a bit of a gusty wind out there between 5 and 10 miles per hour. Good visibility, however. Here's a snapshot of downtown Utica early this morning. In the Yorkville Battery Live radar, we're tracking a few rain showers to our north. At this time, it's not looking like it's reaching the ground. In fact, a lot of it is actually passing well north of even sections of Inlet and Old Forge, northernmost section of the area. But nonetheless, what are we tracking? Well, it's going to feel like spring, especially for the week ahead. We got some warmer temperatures this week, hitting the 50s and 60s. Yes, we're not kidding. Last week definitely didn't feel like any springtime. This week, for sure, we've got some warmth on the way. But with the warmth and the springtime feel comes April showers, and we got a good amount of April showers to track over the next several days. Either way, today we start out in the 40s, climbing into the 60s. Rainfall holds off for the most part until right around or after sunset, 6 p.m., 5 p.m. We'll track that rain plus the rain chances throughout the week coming up in that full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. A traffic alert to pass along. Starting today,
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Happy Monday. We are winding down the month of March. What a month it's been, and I think a lot of us are just hoping for some warmth, some spring weather. And certainly this week we're going to have some. Here's a look at your forecast in a minute. Currently a view of downtown Utica. Official conditions at Griffiths in Rome at 43 degrees with some clear skies and a decent southerly wind here of around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Your official sunrise this morning at 6:52, sunset 7:27. So we are still, of course, seeing those longer and longer daylight hours. Wind chill a bit brisk this morning, but again, it's going to warm up rather quickly. Look at the roadways early today. It's relatively dry. In fact, pretty much entirely dry. We're going to have a few wispy clouds in the sky today, and it's going to feel a bit like spring is in the air, especially with today's highs pushing the low 60s. But notice we got some rain arriving as we head toward the evening. Here's a time frame of it. You can see here, we're going to see some sunshine this afternoon, a very nice Monday on tap. We're going to have some clouds roll in this evening, temperatures peaking near 60, and then we're going to see that widespread rain arrive tonight. This is the first round of rain out of several rounds that we'll be seeing this week. We're going to be looking at the potential for high rainfall totals as well as even severe weather risk. We're not out of the blue with that. We'll talk a bit more about all those conditions for you coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. 12 tons of Kit Kat chocolate bars were stolen.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good Monday morning, everybody. Today, it's going to be rather spring-like. It's warming up into the 60s with even some sunshine as well. But we've got some rain to arrive later this evening, and that'll be at least a catalyst for a bunch of rain this week, and we'll be talking about that here shortly. For now, though, here's a look at the Yorkville Battery Live radar. It's pretty dry out there early today, and it's going to be pretty dry for the next several hours. So if you're planning on enjoying at least maybe some sunshine today, you're going to have it. We've got highs in the 60s, a mix of sun and clouds this afternoon, a bit more clouds this evening as an approaching front begins to move its way in. Right around sunset, or maybe a little bit before it, we're going to see the arrival of widespread rain. This will officially be coming down at a pretty good clip as we head toward the overnight hours. Now, by 6 a.m. tomorrow, that widespread rain exits, and then we're going to see more rain, heavy rain in the late morning and early afternoon. Periods of dryness, and then we had the potential for some storms, heavy rainfall, downpours mixed in with some stronger wind gusts here and there as we have a system pushing its way eastward. This will continue as well into the overnight. Rumbles of thunder after sunset. It's going to continue until we head into Wednesday. It cools down a little bit into the 40s. We're going to see widespread rain return again Wednesday. So Wednesday's rain, severe weather, non-existent. Tuesday's rain, that's where we could be seeing some concerns. You can see right here, rainfall outlook the next few days, low until sunset, and then it's pretty widespread with some April showers for the middle of the week. Now, how much rain are we talking? Roughly speaking, 1 to 2 inches. However, inside some of these thunderstorms, what's called training, basically you have a lot of rain falling over a narrow corridor as basically the storms fuel themselves with record moisture in the atmosphere for this time of year. That is going to cause some isolated downpours to produce potentially 2 to 4 inches of rain. So training, as always, not easy to predict, but we know when the conditions are present for them to take place, and those conditions take place on Tuesday. On top of that, there's a risk for some strong storms, especially in the lower peninsula of Michigan, heading toward Cleveland, Ohio, and western New York. We're on the fringe of it here locally, and you can see here the main risks, some stronger wind gusts, some heavy rain. Again, isolated tornado chance, always can never be ruled out with these scenarios, but it's not looking that likely. Wind the big risk here. But nonetheless, still, look at this. We got some spring weather this week, whether it comes with rain or not. I think a lot of you are definitely looking forward to this type of weather here over the next 5 to 7 days. So, of course, today we've got second to last day of March, one more day tomorrow, and then April comes in, and not looking too bad for April standards. I mean, it's looking textbook. April showers, 40s, 50s, 60s, so it feels like a season's changing, and I think a lot of us are looking forward to it.
Yeah, I know the grass is due to turn green.
Oh, yes.
It's pretty bad right now. Eric, thanks. The time right now is 5:19. Still ahead on Sunrise. Gas prices are up nearly 50 cents in just the past 2 weeks. Plus, if you're in the market for one of these, chances are you're not worried about gas prices. General Motors unveils the new Purist model Corvette. Those stories and more next in our financial report here on News Channel 2 at Sunrise. Once again, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. If you're getting ready to head out the door this morning, get ready for a mild morning. Eric, it feels nice out there this morning.
Yeah, very pleasant, Gary. I mean, we're already in the 40s right now. Here's a look at the temperatures here across central New York. 43 officially at Rome. It's a little chillier down in Johnstown in the Mohawk Valley, but obviously a lot warmer heading out towards Syracuse. So it's warm to start, and it's warming up even more this afternoon. We're seeing highs pushing the eventual 60s. So for right now, at least, we have conditions that are favoring some dry weather and a bit breezy as well. 5 to 10 miles an hour across parts of the area. And on top of that, of course, you can see right here, pretty decent visibility. We can a pretty good shot of the downtown skyline here from our Nexus Center camera here. And now the radar today indicating some rainfall to our north. For much of us, for much of the day today, it's actually rather dry. We're going to be tracking some sunshine, more importantly, some spring-like weather, and that's going to be two things. So for one, we've got some warmer temperatures this week, pretty much all week long. Secondly, though, we've got some April showers, and if we're talking April showers, maybe April downpours, April thunderstorms, we got pretty much everything this week. We'll be tracking that, but at least today, all that rain is looking to hold off at least until 5-6 p.m. today with some sunshine and some very warm temperatures this afternoon. Gary.
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. Day 45.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Happy Monday. We are on the downward slide to the end of March. We got one more day left after today, and then April will be arriving pretty soon. Either way, we've got a lot more spring photos to share. This is a great one sent into us from Frank in Mohawk of the Unadilla River spring thaw. And it's that time of year, of course, all the creeks and streams, obviously, the smaller ones are thawing a lot quicker. Larger ones, same story here. But nonetheless, it's a beautiful scene there. Some blue skies. Yes, not a whole lot of green yet on the foliage, but probably about a month from now, a little over a month, I should say, usually early May, is when we really start to see the spring begin to go into full effect. Nonetheless, amazing shot right there. Shout out to those of you watching from Mohawk this morning. And if you have a photo like that you'd like to send to us, WKTV.com/weather/pics. You can go to submit your own. And of course, that photo and every photo every morning brought to you by GPO Federal Credit Union. Gary?
Eric, thanks. The sound of music filled the Senate.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, it's a new week, and it's eventually going to be a new month in a couple of days, and we've got a lot to talk about as the season, at least the spring season, feels like it's going to be officially arriving soon. Here's a look at the radar right now, and as you can see here, it's rather quiet. We got some rain activity to the north and to the east, but besides that, it's a relatively quiet start to your day today. And it's going to be a pretty quiet morning, afternoon, and evening. Sunshine, mix of sun and clouds, and high temperatures pushing the low to mid 60s. A beautiful day on tap today. I will say it's a little blustery, but nonetheless, as we head toward the evening around sunset, widespread rain begins to move in. Initially light, becoming a bit heavier as we head during the overnight hours. You see here pretty decent steady rain overnight into early Tuesday morning. But just in time for the morning commute Tuesday, it does dry up. We start out in the 50s tomorrow morning. We climb maybe a few more degrees though, but it's going to remain roughly the same, at least in the morning hours. Widespread rain late morning, early afternoon. Then we begin to climb into the 60s with the arrival of some rainfall. And some of this will be heavy, downpours, thunderstorms. Same thing as we head toward the late evening and overnight here. We got some of those heavier downpours as well. And then yet again, more rain arrives Wednesday. However, this will not favor convective showers or, in simpler terms, thunderstorms. So you see here, it's a pretty rainy week. It's looking very April showerish, but nonetheless, when it comes to rain, we're generally seeing 1 to 2 inches of rain by the end of Wednesday. However, what we're looking at here is the risk for excessive rainfall and what are called training thunderstorms, storms that pass over the same area, tapping into record moisture this time of year that'll add the potential of another inch or two of rain in some spots. So for most of us, 1 to 2 inches, isolated areas, 2 to 4 inches of rain, which at least locally is enough to potentially cause some concerns for ponding and some flooding, but we'll cross that bridge and eventually when we get to it. For now, though, on top of the risk for storm potential on Tuesday, they could be a bit stronger. Now, a lot of the brunt of it taking place out to the west, but still, some of these are going to push their way eastward. Some stronger wind gusts, heavy rain, the biggest concern out of this whole event. So we're going to wait for that to happen. And then, of course, isolated tornado and hail chance can't be ruled out, but this is not a very favorable environment, at least compared to other types of events here locally. So again, stronger wind gusts and heavy rain, the biggest concern tomorrow. Then Wednesday, it's a bit cooler. Same thing Thursday. The rainfall, not severe risk potential. And then it warms right back up again as you head toward Friday. We're up into the 60s. And then next weekend, pretty mild. We're in the 50s, the rain showers on Sundays. But either way, What a stretch of weather here. It's definitely looking like an April month here. We got 60s, 50s, 40s, and we got rainfall 5 out of the 7 days this week, Gary. So quite a busy stretch ahead.
Yeah, April definitely coming in with some showers. Yeah. Eric, thanks. Well, a local food pantry
with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Monday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
April's almost here, and it's starting to finally feel like spring, right?
About time, Gary.
Yeah.
About time. A lot of us looking forward to some of the warmer weather, and it's arriving today.
All right.
Let's take a look at the conditions outside right now. We begin in the 40s, 50s, mainly, though, 40s here locally. I should say 50s are on tap later this morning, and especially pushing 60 this afternoon. So it's a quiet start out there. We got some faded moonlight and some decent wind gusts here, mainly from the south between 5 and 10 miles an hour. So it's not very strong, but you're definitely going to feel that wind early today. A live view of downtown Utica. Great visibility here. We have a great scene of the Utica skyline. Of course, thanks to Gary for pointing that out. We got the Continental Blue there right on the office building. Looks to be for the, of course, big win from the Hamilton hockey team last night. Yorkville Battery Live radar. We've got a few rain showers to our north, but that's really about it. They're staying to our north. But despite that, we've got a very spring-like day today and this week, especially as we head toward today and tomorrow. So again, warmer temperatures this week, but along with it too, we've got some April showers on tap and a good amount of rain. Maybe some April thunderstorms, maybe even some April downpours. But nonetheless, today it does remain mostly dry. The rainfall arrives near or after sunset toward the evening commute. And we're tracking, of course, that rainfall this week, how much we could see, severe weather risk, everything you didn't know as we head into the month of April, coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Thanks. A traffic alert to pass along this morning. Starting today, the...
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back. Time now is 6:10, going on 6:11 on your Monday morning, and we are winding down March with April right around the corner, and it's going to feel a lot like spring this week. I know we've had some plunges of wintertime returning last week and even the weeks past, but seriously feeling some warmth this week, that's for sure. Current conditions outside right now at Griffiths, measuring 41 degrees, clear skies, east-southeast wind of around 6 miles an hour, 5 to 10, the rough wind speed today. Sunrise of 6:52, sunset at 7:27. Now with the skies overnight producing some faded moonlight, we have wispy cirrus clouds producing what's called a moon halo. You might have seen it on your drive in early today, or if you were out and about early this morning, you got to see it in person before the moon begins to set. But same mechanism as we see sun halos. You've got refraction of the particles way up in the sky, the cloud particles, which happen to be, in some instances, ice, which can reflect like this. So we look at the roadways this morning. It's rather dry out there, and same thing on the radar. We've got conditions climbing into the 60s this afternoon, a mix of sun and clouds, and the arrival of rainfall tonight, and heavy rain, storm potential, and severe storm risk tomorrow. We'll break that down for you coming up in our next few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. 12 tons of Kit Kat.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. On this Monday, we're on the downward slide toward April, and with it, we got some April showers looking ahead to the middle of the week here, but some of this could produce some heavy rain, some thunderstorms, and we'll get to that here shortly. Today, though, let's talk about today's weather, which is going to be very nice, very spring-like. We're up in the 50s and 60s, sunshine, a little breezy out there, but overall, we'll take it. It's going to be very warm, and the rainfall today is holding off until the evening commute time frame, 5, 6, 7 o'clock tonight. You see here plenty of sun, highs in the mid-60s, feeling very pleasant out today. Now you see here as we head toward tonight, here's that widespread rain. It moves through mainly south of the Adirondacks, and then by tomorrow morning it starts out dry. We're in the 50s. It doesn't really warm up all too much with the arrival of more widespread rain as we head toward the late morning and early afternoon. Now, make sure you follow me here because there's a lot of rain chances here. I want to make sure I explain it as thoroughly as possible. So once the rain tomorrow late morning ends, a bit of a dry slot here, maybe a few passing sprinkles here and there, but the main story is tomorrow evening. Heavy downpours, thunderstorms, these will roll through with a secondary round that could be arriving as we head toward the late evening with overnight thunderstorms here between 11 o'clock and midnight. After that, there's no more storm risk, and Wednesday's rainfall potential is just rainfall potential, but still on top of the additional rain we're seeing tonight and Tuesday, this will add totals even higher by the end of this event, which I'll show here shortly. So pretty much this week feeling very April shower-like. It's definitely living up to its name as we head toward the beginning of the month here. But look at this. We head toward Tuesday, Wednesday. Look at these rainfall totals here. And for a lot of us, I'm thinking we're looking at an inch or 2 inches in a lot of spots maximum, but a few isolated locations could see upwards of 2 to 3 inches, even 2 to 4, but that's mainly out toward the western portions of New York State due to what's called training with thunderstorms that fall over the same area. But still here, tomorrow, this is the risk for tomorrow. Slight risk in that yellow zone for severe weather. Look at this here. We're right on the fringe of the level 1 out of 5 risk, which includes the biggest concerns being strong wind gusts, but mainly heavy rain and flood potential. So those are the two big things. Of course, with every severe weather risk, tornadoes and hail are a possibility. They're non-zero risk, but they're not the big concern. We look at this here. We got warmth on tap for the next 5 to 7 days. Look at that. There's no highs in the 30s and 20s. That's such a shocker here so far the last few weeks. But either way, April arrives on Wednesday, and it sure enough arrives with some decent amount of rain, and that will continue for the rest of the week. So for sure, we got April showers arriving in full force the next several days.
Not much sun, but the temperatures look pretty good.
We'll take the warmth any day of the week.
Eric, thanks. Be sure to like us on Facebook again, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. And get ready, as it is starting to finally feel like spring. And Eric, today it's going to be a nice one out there.
Yeah, absolute gorgeous day out there today, Gary. We begin with temperatures already in the 40s. Let's take a look right now at some of those local conditions. Officially 41 at Griffiths, 36, a little cooler in Hamilton, but 48 out in Syracuse. And regardless of these early start temperatures, they're going to be climbing into the 60s this afternoon. So we're all going to see our fair share of warmth and spring conditions. A bit blustery, especially from the south. Those of you in the hilltops south of the Mohawk Valley, you're seeing the brunt of the winds today. And of course, that south wind ushering in some of that springtime warmth today. A live view of downtown Utica, a beautiful scene of the morning sunrise early today. Officially that sunrise again at a little bit before 7 a.m. this morning. I believe 6:57 the official time here, but nonetheless, we look at the radar, it's relatively quiet, and it's going to remain quiet for much of the day today. So it definitely is going to be feeling like spring. A couple other things, though. We are looking at some warmer temperatures this week. This is not just isolated to today. Warmth continues, but on top of that, as much as we get to see more April-like temperatures, we get, of course, the April showers along with it as well. So today, we're in the 40s to start. We're up into the 60s this afternoon, a mix of sun and clouds. Rainfall arrives as we head toward the evening and overnight hours. And then tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, all have rain chances, but tomorrow we're focusing on, because there's potential for severe weather, some thunderstorms. Will break down that chance, as well as the total rain we'll be seeing over the next few days coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Day 45 of the record.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Happy Monday morning, everybody. Today we are starting out rather mild, and this afternoon we're looking at upper 50s, pushing mid 60s with some sunshine as well. It's going to be a beautiful spring day today before rain arrives as we head towards sunset. But we'll get to that rainfall here in a few minutes. First, I want to showcase our photo of the day today, which brings us to the Unionville River in Mohawk, at least sent in by Frank in Mohawk, of a spring thaw. And look at the beautiful crystal waters there, of course, with all the snow melt, water levels on the rise. And on top of that, of course, in the sides of your screen there, of course, you can see the lack of spring foliage, which, by the way, typically this time of this area, about a month, a little over a month away from really seeing some true greenery across central New York. But nonetheless, amazing photo there. If you have one like that you'd like to share with us, go to WKTV.com/weather/pics. Now that photo and every photo every morning brought to you by GPO Federal Credit Union. Gary?
Eric, thanks. The sound of music filled the Senate.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning. Happy Monday. We got some serious warmth and spring weather to look forward to this week, as well as some April showers. So let's just dive right into it. Here's a look at the radar right now. It's pretty quiet out there today. Expect a pretty quiet afternoon, a sunny afternoon mixed in with a few clouds. But more importantly, the warmth. We're up in the 60s as we head toward the middle of the day today. So enjoy the spring weather expected for the next several hours. See right here, a mix of sun and clouds in the 60s by the afternoon. Overall, beautiful day on tap. Now, as we head toward the evening hours, around the evening commute time, we got some rainfall potentially to arrive, especially as we head toward the overnight hours. So there's that rain that begins to move in. Eventually, it'll exit by Tuesday morning. So now, bear with me as I go through multiple rain chances over the next 48, 36, even 72 hours. So we begin on Tuesday, maybe a few sprinkles. We have widespread rain in the late morning, early afternoon. That pushes through. A lot of that rainfall, though, looks to be focused mainly south of the thruway. But nonetheless, we got some storm chances passing over us as we had it during the evening and overnight. Some of these storms had the possibility of producing some, of course, thunder and lightning, obviously, but also heavy rain and what's called training, or basically storms that move over the same area in a very localized heavy rainfall pattern. This happens when you have extremely high, in this case, record-setting moisture in the atmosphere for this time of year, which always indicates, for one, it's never guaranteed, but the possibility is there. Then as we head toward Wednesday, severe risk is done, and then we've got widespread rain moving through. This will just be a spring rain, a cooler rain with highs in the 40s, maybe pushing 50 if we're lucky with that rain continuing overnight. So nonetheless, it's a pretty damp next few days. You see here widespread rain mixing in at least at some point Tuesday, Wednesday, and even Thursday, with, of course, that rainfall today arriving after sunset. When it comes to rainfall totals here in the latest trends, those you've been watching since the 5 a.m. hour, it has shifted a bit more to the south, but nonetheless, we're tracking probably about an inch, maybe 2 inches tops for most areas. And then in locations that could see that training, there could be 2 to 3 inches, maybe even higher. But again, that's only in isolated locations. And then finally, I mentioned there's severe risk. Look right here, level 2 out of 5 zone in the yellow. We've got level 1 out of 5 risk for the dark green. See how we're on the fringe of it? We're not in the brunt of this severe risk, but because of that, of course, flooding the big concern, some stronger wind gusts. Of course, with any severe event, hail, tornadoes can't be ruled out, but this is not a tornadic-driven event. Following this, though, I think a lot of you are looking forward to these temperatures here, 50s and 60s, a lot less 20s and 30s, as you see here in the 7-day. But, of course, with all that warmth comes April showers. And April arrives on Wednesday, high 57, and it's looking pretty rainy for the next several days. So I guess it's the the silver lining here is that it's going to be very warm, though.
Yeah,
so that's a
and
plus.
today looks beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Eric, thanks. A local food pantry is giving away dog.
Lipitor.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Closing arguments began this morning in the murder trial of Jonah Levy, one of the former corrections officers charged in the death of inmate Messiah Nantwi at the Mid-State Correctional Facility last March. The defense has
It's already warm.
24th. Meteorologist Eric Gage joining us now. Disorderly conduct stemming from the incident that happened back on March 24th. Meteorologist Eric Gage. And Eric, it appears that spring has finally sprung, right?
Oh, yeah. Feeling like spring today, Gary. I mean, we're up into the 60s now. It's going to be very warm. I haven't sat outside yet. I'm waiting to walk outside and feel the warmth. Either way, we look out the current conditions at 61 degrees at Griffiths. It's already warm from a low in the 30s in Johnstown and the Mohawk Valley up into near 60 degrees. And pretty much the rest of the state following suit. It's a beautiful spring day, maybe a bit more clouds than what you'd want, but listen, if it's 60 out, it's dry, listen, we'll take this weather any day of the week. Now, it is a bit blustery. We have 5 to 10 mile per hour winds here locally, a bit breezier, especially as you head out to the west, and that is where we're tracking our next weather system that's set to arrive a little bit after sunset tonight. Maybe some sprinkles make it in before for that evening commute, but nonetheless, here's a scene outside in downtown Utica. Not too bad of a scene out there. We have some alto cumulus clouds here, maybe some alto cirrus clouds, but overall, it's not a very damp day out there today, at least compared to what we've seen in days past. Yorkville Battery Live Radar also showing dry conditions, and yes, it feels like spring today. We got some warmer temperatures this week, not just today, but also we got some April showers moving in as we are winding down March, and April is right around the corner. So today, our highs peak in the 60s. Again, by tonight, we're going to see the arrival of rain. That'll continue through the overnight hours, eventually with more rain on the way Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, even into Friday. So we'll track all those chances for you coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. The long lines still linger at airports around the country.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today we have got a very beautiful spring afternoon here across central New York. We take a look at the radar and satellite. This is all driven in by a warm front to our north that is bringing with it, of course, all that warm air. Now, obviously, on this image here, you see this ominous little cold front here pushing its way south and east. That is what will be driving our weather for the next several days. Now, it's not just a cold front, but more or less this front's going to move south and it's going to turn somewhat stationary. And anytime we get stationary fronts, we have to keep a close eye on the weather systems, and I'll show you why here. So today, it's pretty dry. This evening, also pretty dry. Right around the evening commute time frame, might see a stray shower or two, light initially. It's going to get a bit heavier, especially as we head overnight, and that's mainly in the thruway corridor in south. Not a whole lot of rain to the north. Then by 6 a.m. tomorrow, again, bear with me, there's a lot of rain chances I'm talking about here. 6 a.m. tomorrow starts out initially dry, maybe a few spotty sprinkles. We had a damp morning. But by the late morning, early afternoon, we have another round of rain beginning to arrive. Now, the latest model trend has the rainfall a bit less widespread to start your afternoon. But either way, as we head toward the evening, we're tracking a few scattered showers and thunderstorms. These are the things we got to watch here, because there are factors in the atmosphere that can promote severe weather. Not a high concern, but a concern nonetheless. This chance will continue until around 11 p.m. Once this trailing cold air works through, severe risk is gone. Then we have just a few scattered showers in the morning Wednesday, as well as widespread rain Wednesday afternoon through Wednesday evening, and of course overnight. You see here a lot of rain chances over the next few days. So March is leaving like a lion, and on top of that, April's coming in. Very characteristic with some April showers Wednesday and Thursday. When it comes to rainfall potential, notice this right here. There's a huge variation, and the large variations are dependent on what are called training thunderstorms, storms that move over the same area in a small location. Now, for much of us, we're looking at 1 inch to 2 inches tops for rainfall, but if you get into some of these storm potential chances, there could be 2 inches, 3 inches, maybe even 4. So we'll watch that, as well as the fact that we've got some storm risk, and that's mainly to our west. We are seeing some risk here locally. It's a level 1 out of 5 risk. The biggest concern, some strong wind gusts, some heavier rain, flooding potential, ponding on roadways. It's not a big concern, but nonetheless, all the severe weather ingredients that we're witnessing here is enough to support, at least enough to make sure we're weather aware tomorrow. So, again, we got some storm chances Tuesday evening. Rain showers arrive for April, and look at that, pretty much a lot of April starting out with some rain. So it's showing up rainy, but at least it's warm. Toward the end of the week, we're back in the 60s again.
Yeah, you better get outside and enjoy it today.
Maybe you got little shorts.
Oh, there you
go. Is this considered short weather?
Go for a walk. Eric, thanks. The FBI responded to a now and temperatures in the 60s, but Sasquatch still dealing with a lot of snow in Redfield, right?
Oh, yeah, and our familiar friend up there, too, was buried with all that snow recently. But now, yeah, we got some melting taking place. Here's a look at the scene across the area. And, of course, a lot of snow melts. And even up in Redfield, we're talking the thick of the Tug Hill snow belt. And some of that snow is finally to the point where you can actually see the grass. Those of you up in Redfield, when was the last time you saw bare grass on some of these surfaces? So it goes to show you just how much this warmth is affecting the snowpacks, especially in the thickest sections here in New York State. But nonetheless, in the Mohawk Valley and south, it's been pretty much snow-free for the past week or so, even going as far as 2 weeks, at least in the main areas. Temperatures warming up. We're in the 60s. I would not be shocked if we hit the upper 60s. Dare I say, I wouldn't go 70. Maybe I would go 70. I don't know. Either way, it's already warming up. If we get plenty of sun, we'll see those temperatures continue to climb. It's a bit blustery out there. 5 to 10 mile an hour winds in the southwest, and we've got some partial clearing. This is the cloud cover I was mentioning today we'd be seeing. We've got these altocumulus clouds. We got some of those altostratus clouds. They're basically just very thin blankets. And above that, some faded sun from some cirrus clouds. But besides that, that's the only cloud cover we're seeing today. Yorkville Battery Live radar, dry conditions right now. It's a pretty dry day today. Of course, feeling like spring. Warmer temperatures continue this week. We do have a cool down in the middle of the week, but it's not lasting that long. And cool down is relative, at least compared to last week. It's definitely warmer. But also we got some rain showers we're tracking, especially by tonight through much of tomorrow. So in the meantime, though, enjoy the nice dry weather today. Maybe go for those walks before the rain begins to arrive. Initially rather light during that evening commute time frame and a bit heavier as we head overnight. We're tracking storm risk tomorrow, heavy rain, potential flooding concerns, all of that coming up in your full forecast. Gary?
Eric, thanks. Some thieves in Italy made off with 3 paintings by Renoir, Cezanne, and Matisse worth millions of dollars from a museum.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today we've got some rainfall on the horizon, but at least for now we'll enjoy the quiet spring-like weather. Radar and satellite showing us in the midst of a warm front here, but there's a few things we're going to be tracking as we head toward the next several days, especially when it comes to severe weather risk as we head toward, say, Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night. So look right here at the radar and satellite. Of course, we have that frontal boundary here mainly to our north. Nonetheless, we zoom in here in our skycast, and there's a couple of things I want to talk about. So first, we're going to talk warmth, then rain, then storm risk, and I'll tell you the time frame of each of them. So today, there's no storm risk, a few spotty showers arriving after sunset, and that'll linger overnight with some moderate rain by early tomorrow, ending by early tomorrow, I should say. And then Tuesday, 6 a.m., lingering patchy drizzle. It's going to be a damp morning. We're in the 50s with a few scattered showers in the late morning and early afternoon. Now, keep in mind, we're looking at some of the data here, and this is one of those days we don't want to let our guard down for severe weather risk. Now, why is that the case? Well, we have a couple of things here. We have plenty, bountiful moisture, almost record-setting moisture in the atmosphere tomorrow. And that means above us, even not near the surface, but also way up in the atmosphere, carried in by the jet stream and a stationary front, which is directly over us. Now, stationary fronts also pose a concern when we get the right ingredients, the right rotation in the atmosphere, where we could be seeing severe weather risk. Now, I'll show the risks here in a second, but for now, I do want to time it out. Severe risk will end as we head into the overnight hours. By midnight onward, it's now over and done with. Wednesday, we're in the 40s. We've got a calm, moderate rain for much of the late afternoon into the evening and overnight. Rainfall chances pretty much every single day this week. So it's looking to be definitely the arrival of April showers. The name is living up to it here. Of course, March going out like a lion with that severe risk tomorrow. So rainfall totals, roughly about 1 inch to 2 inches across much of central New York. The difference maker are storms that will be what are called training. Basically, these storms are going to move over a very isolated location, dropping heavier rain than typically usual in some of these systems. So because of that, there could be amounts of 3 inches or nearing 3 inches or even higher. Those are mainly out in western New York, but still, there's a risk for those locally heavy downpours. And then finally, when it comes to strong storm risk, you see here, level 2 out of 5 risk in yellow, 1 out of 5 in green. Now, as we zoom in here locally, the big risks are some stronger wind gusts, flooding potential, obviously. But the way the atmosphere is, tornado risk can't be ruled out. It's not high. This is not one of those alarm blaring days, but it's definitely one that we have to keep a close eye out for, especially tomorrow afternoon through tomorrow evening. So make sure you're weather aware. Right below me, you see that? You got the QR code for our Storm Tracker 2 app. Sends you right to the App Store or Google Play Store, and if there's any warnings, watches, you name it, it's sent right to your phone as they happen. So you don't even need to be watching us here. You can be out and about, your phone will let you know, and of course you can tune into us if things turn severe. We can be either posting stuff on social media, we could be live, but either way, I don't expect tomorrow to be a big concern, but it's one of those situations where we look at the data, we look at stuff, and just based off of gut instinct and a lot of previous experience with this type of thing, just remain weather aware tomorrow. That's the big key.
People will be tuning in.
Oh, yeah.
Eric, thanks. Well, the sound of music filled the Sinnott family.
Palace.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're going to get to all those stories in a moment and more. But first, we want to start things off in the Weather Center. Meteorologist James DeFazio is tracking a system coming our way overnight. And there's a flood watch for tomorrow for parts of the area.
We are talking about a major change. After a beautiful day of weather today, we're going to see drastic changes in the weather tomorrow. We're going to see rounds of rain for several consecutive days. This flood watch goes into effect tomorrow morning and doesn't expire until late during the day on Wednesday. That's because over the next 48 to 72 hours, we're going to see several rounds of heavier showers. As for tonight, we're going to continue to see showers work in dry conditions right now, but looking at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar, showers are sliding into Madison County. They will soon be working into Oneida County. Temperatures are still mild. We're in the upper 40s to mid 50s across the region, mid to upper 50s across the southern tier. Currently 54 degrees with calm winds at Griffiths and Rome. Tonight, temperatures are going to be down only in the low 50s. It's going to be a mild night overall. Some of the outlying areas will get into the 40s, but it'll still be mild. Showers develop overnight tonight. Coming up, we're going to take a look at the entirety of tomorrow's forecast and break down that storm potential. Jason?
James, thank you. The fate of former Mid-State Corrections Officer.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good Monday evening. James DeFazio in for Bill tonight. Bill has the night off. Taking a look at downtown Utica, it was a beautiful day today, and we're tracking changes, unfortunately. This beautiful weather is going to be short-lived. We're going to be seeing showers working into the region very shortly, and we're going to see rain for several consecutive days. We have a marginal risk for storms tomorrow. There's going to be isolated chances for severe weather. We're going to talk about that. And as we head through next week, April showers and warmer temperatures are the story of the long-range forecast. Several days of rainfall, also several days of much more comfortable temperatures than what we saw this previous Saturday, for example. Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. We have a shower rolling through. It's working into western Oneida County now and will continue to work eastward into the Mohawk Valley. And as we look back to the west, we have more showers that are going to continue to work through for the entirety of the overnight. There's also some weak thunderstorms embedded within there. So we could even have a rumble of thunder or two overnight tonight. Within these showers, but we're not going to see any severe weather until tomorrow afternoon. That severe risk is between 3 and 9 p.m. tomorrow. Flood watches are in effect for all of tomorrow, on all of Wednesday, and that is due to extremely heavy rain both tomorrow and during the day on Wednesday. Tomorrow night, we're looking at about 1.5 to 2.5 inches of rain region-wide. Things will be a little bit lighter on Wednesday, but the damage will have been done by then. We're tracking severe weather to the west, primarily across western New York. We're in a marginal risk here in central New York, a 1 out of 5 risk. We are keeping a very close eye on storms. We're going to have someone on duty at all hours tomorrow. Rain likely through the end of the week. We're tracking rounds of showers. These showers work through entirely for the entirety of the overnight, with temperatures in the low 50s. As we head towards tomorrow morning, primarily cloudy skies, then widespread rain and isolated storms during tomorrow afternoon. As we head into tomorrow evening, the same story. Isolated showers mixed with isolated storms mixed with widespread showers. I'll look at your 7-day forecast. It is a wet one. We're tracking several consecutive days of rainfall. It's really going to be quite a bit of rainfall by Friday. We're talking about 2 to 4 inches of rain region-wide. It does get a little bit cooler during the middle of the week as the backdoor cold front works through, but we're going to be near 70 degrees on Friday, which is going to be nice.
That's better than 10s, 20s, and 30s.
Yeah, this weekend, the feel-like temperature was in the teens on Saturday, so
It's all behind us.
yes.
Thank you very much, sir. Well, tonight, the countdown is...
Jason Palace.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. We're going to get to all those stories in a moment. First, though, we want to start things off in the Weather Center. Meteorologist James DeFazio tracking a system coming our way overnight. And we got a flood watch for tomorrow,
Yes.
correct?
Correct. And they've actually issued a preemptive flood warning just now, just a couple minutes ago. That's for the Shenango River in Sherburne in northern Shenango County. That's because that river is expected to flood by tomorrow evening. We're going to be seeing plenty of creeks, streams, and rivers rising as this flood watch goes into effect tomorrow morning and doesn't expire until late in the day on Wednesday, as we're going to see several consecutive days of very heavy rain. Calm conditions for now in downtown Utica, but the rain is close. Taking a look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar, we have rounds of showers working in from the west, and we're going to see showers and some weak thunderstorms overnight. Temperatures are in the mid 40s to mid 40s to mid 50s, depending on your location. Much colder across the North Country, mid to upper 50s across the southern tier. Currently 52 with cloudy skies and calm winds at Griffith and Rome. Tonight, showers, possibly even a rumble of thunder working through as well. Lows are going to be in the upper 40s. It's going to be a mild night. Coming up, we're going to break down the entire severe risk for tomorrow's weather. Jason?
James, thank you. The fate of former mid...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist James DeFazio.
After a beautiful day in central New York, we're tracking changes to the weather. Shower has just worked through downtown Utica. You can see the road is wet. It has calmed down, but we're going to see rounds of showers tonight and tomorrow and Wednesday and for most of the entire week ahead. Rain arrives tonight. We have a marginal risk for severe weather tomorrow. We're going to make sure that you're weather aware and what to be aware of. April showers and warmer temperatures for the remainder of the week. Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 live radar. Here's the shower that just worked through the Utica region. We do have more showers back to the west and some isolated thunderstorms as well. These are going to work through overnight tonight. We're going to see showers, heavy rain, some weak thunderstorms, possibly some rumbles of thunder loud enough to wake you up due to the environment that the current air mass is in. However, we're not going to see severe weather until tomorrow. We have flood watches in effect for all of Tuesday and all of Wednesday. These go into effect first thing tomorrow morning, and that's because we're expecting heavy rainfall throughout the day tomorrow. Rounds of rain, 1 to 2+ inches of rainfall just by Wednesday evening, with more rain on the way for Wednesday. Just by Tuesday evening with more rain on the way for Wednesday. The risk for severe storms, slight risk across western New York in the Ohio River Valley. Closer to home, we are in a marginal risk. We are in a 1 out of 5 risk for storms. Primary concerns are straight line winds and flooding, but we cannot rule out isolated hail or an isolated tornado. We will have a meteorologist here for the entirety of the severe weather threat, which looks to be between 3 and 11 p.m. tomorrow afternoon and evening. We're tracking several consecutive days of wet weather, plenty of rainfall over the next 4 days. By the time Friday evening rolls around, we're going to be talking about 2 to 4 inches of rain region-wide. Rounds of rain overnight tonight, couple rumbles of thunder as well, mild temperatures. Tomorrow, some light rain during the morning hours, otherwise just cloudy conditions. Then during the afternoon, heavier showers, scattered storms. That continues into the evening, heavier showers with scattered storms. As we head into Wednesday, it's a relatively dry start, although as the day progresses, widespread rain returns for the entirety of the afternoon and evening. A look at your 7-day forecast. We're tracking very wet conditions for this week. Several rounds of rain continue through the end of the week and into the beginning of next weekend. And as we head into the weekend, it still looks wet. Unfortunately, we don't look to fully dry out until next week. A cold front does work through Sunday. colder and drier to begin next week, but man, do we have quite a week ahead of April showers.
All right, we'll be ready for them. Thank you, sir. Well, tonight, the countdown has officially